Dwaraka had just witnessed the biggest battle in the history of mankind. The battle was between the gods and the mighty demon king, Raavan. After winning the battle, Raavan acquired the Power Stone, which fuels his dark power further. Along with his four powerful generals, Shukracharya, Adikaya, Simhika, and Meghnad, intercepted the celestial ship carrying the last survivors of Dwaraka's destruction. Upon landing, Raavan steps forward, his 10 heads glowing with dark energy, and fights the king of God, Lord Indra. He overpowers Lord Indra, subduing him with his immense strength, that is extracting power from the stone as well. Then, he turns his attention to the Tesseract, which contains the Space Stone, hidden within Indra's Vajra. Smashing it with his might, Raavan extracts the stone and embeds it in his divine gauntlet. As Narasimha challenges him, a fierce battle erupts, but Raavan effortlessly defeats him, slamming Narasimha into the ground. Before Raavan can completely annihilate the Narasimha, Vibhishana, a devotee of righteousness, summons the power of the celestial portal and sends Narasimha hurtling towards the earth. Raavan and his generals then destroy the ship, leaving Indra and the defeated gods behind. On earth, Narasimha crash lands at the doorstep of Lord Shiva's sanctum in Kashi, reverting to his calmer form, Rishi Durvasa. He warns Mahadev's disciples, sage Vishwamitra and Sajagastya, about Raavan's quest to collect all the 6 stones, which would allow him to reshape existence itself. He already has 2 stones in his possession. Realizing the grave danger, the sages seek out Krishna, the divine strategist, who immediately understands the gravity of the situation. Krishna calls upon Arjuna to guide in the upcoming battles. The army of Raavan will come to claim the 3rd stone, the time stone from the possessor, sage Vishwamitra. Just as they prepare, 2 of Raavan's generals, Shukracharya and Adikaya, descend from the sky to claim the time stone from sage Vishwamitra's divine amulet. A battle ensues. As Shukracharya uses his mystical abilities, Arjun senses the threat and leaps into action. However, before they can stop him, Shukracharya successfully captures Vishwamitra and takes him away. Krishna and Arjuna, unwilling to let this stand, secretly board Shukracharya's celestial chariot as it ascends toward Raavan's fortress in Lanka. Meanwhile, the Vanar army, led by Hanuman, responds to the distress call from Indra's destroyed ship. They find Indra barely alive, floating in space. Upon rescuing him and informing him about Vishwamitra, Indra informs them that Raavan will now be after the reality stone, which is safeguarded by Shukracharya's rival, sage Brihaspati, in the cosmic realm of Brahmalok. Realizing the urgency, Hanuman, Sugriva and Angada set out on a journey to Vishwakarma's forge to forge a new divine weapon capable of challenging Raavan. There, they find Vishwakarma, the celestial architect, who agrees to craft Vajrapash, a divine weapon imbued with Mahadev's power. Meanwhile, Suvarna, Simhika, and Bhima reach Brahmalok, only to discover that Raavan has already claimed the reality stone. A battle ensues, but before they can stop him, Raavan takes Suvarna captive, as she alone knows the location of the soul stone. Suvarna, upon torture, mentions Vaidurya Parvat, and Raavan reaches there to confront the keeper of the soul stone, Narada. Seeing Suvarna in Raavan's clutches, he reveals that only through the sacrifice of one's dearest beloved can the stone be obtained. In a moment of tragic revelation, Raavan, despite his demonic nature, truly loves his captive, Suvarna. To fulfill his quest for ultimate power, he sacrifices her, pushing her into the abyss, and in return, the stone manifests into his gauntlet. Raavan now possesses 4 of the 6 stones. Meanwhile on Earth, Meghnad and Simhika attack Mithila, where Draupadi and Lord Vishnu's divine incarnation, Sudarshan, reside. They seek the Mind Stone, which is embedded in Sudarshan's forehead. Just as they are about to capture it, Lord Rama, Draupadi and Bhima arrive, repelling the invaders. They take refuge in Ayodhya, where King Yudhishthira and his warriors prepare to defend them. Sage Shukracharya, who has escaped Raavan's captivity, calls upon the remaining Vanaras and Devas to prepare for war. As Raavan's army marches toward Ayodhya, the greatest battle in the 3 worlds begins. The battlefield was a tempest of fire and fury. The earth trembled beneath the weight of gods and warriors as divine energies clashed in an apocalyptic struggle. Hanuman, Sugriva, and Angada descended from the heavens, wielding Vajrapash, its brilliance rivaling the very lightning of Indra. The battlefield roared with renewed battle cries as the mighty warriors surged forward. Indra stood tall, his celestial armor gleaming as he faced Raavan, the demon king who had usurped the power of the cosmos. His eyes burned with divine wrath as he reclaimed his Vajra, the legendary thunderbolt weapon that had once felled the strongest of foes. With a thunderous roar, he charged, striking Raavan with bolts of celestial energy, each strike shattering mountains and shaking the heavens. Nearby, Hanuman met his match in Kumbhakarna, the colossal titan whose every step made the earth quiver. Their blows sent shockwaves across the battlefield, shattering mountains and uprooting forests. Hanuman's mace met Kumbhakarna's massive club in a clash that sent the winds howling across the three worlds. Rama and Arjuna fought side by side against Meghnad, the shadow warrior of Lanka, whose illusions twisted the battlefield into a nightmare of smoke and mirrors. With the precision of 1,000 battles, Rama's arrows, infused with the power of the sun, tore through the deception, while Arjuna's celestial weapons countered Meghnad's dark sorcery. The battle raged like a storm without end, but the true test of fate lay elsewhere. Krishna, the eternal strategist, faced Raavan, the embodiment of power and ambition. The air around them shimmered with divine energy, as if the very cosmos held its breath. Every move, every flicker of power was calculated. Every strike held the weight of fate itself. It was a battle of wits and will, of dharma and desire, of two cosmic forces clashing in an eternal struggle. And then the tide turned. Draupadi, standing at the heart of the battlefield, her soul fractured by the carnage, made a fateful choice. With a sorrowful gaze, she reached out to the Mind Stone, embedded within Sudarshan's forehead. With a whisper of regret, she crushed it in her hands, shattering its power before Raavan could seize it. But fate was cruel. Raavan, his demonic eyes burning with the glow of cosmic knowledge, raised his arm, the time stone pulsing with malevolent energy. And now, with all 6 Kalpamanis in his grasp, it radiated an ominous glow. He raised his hand and snapped his fingers. A terrible energy surged outward, a wave of dissolution that tore through the three worlds. Arjuna, his bow slipping from his grasp, turned to Krishna with eyes full of disbelief before he faded into dust. Bhima, the warrior who had felled 100 demons with his bare hands, fell to his knees, his body dissolving into the wind. Indra, the mighty king of the heavens, watched in horror as his celestial army crumbled into nothingness. Rama, standing amidst the ruins of battle, looked around at his vanishing allies. And above it all, Raavan stood triumphant. He stepped onto his Pushpaka Vimana, the celestial chariot of conquest, and rose above the battlefield. The first rays of dawn broke over the horizon, painting the sky in gold and crimson. Raavan watched the celestial sunrise, and he smiled.